Thank you so much for tuning in today. 2 things we can laugh about now. This is not really a laughable story, but it's something that people may not be aware of. And at the time, I actually laughed at the other agent because they weren't sure. So let me tell you the story and let me tell you the lesson at the end. So this story begins with a home, that's located in an HOA, homeowners association, which means they have bylaws and covenants and deed restrictions, community restrictions, things you can do, things you cannot do. So my client's under contract, we get the documents. My client, for whatever reason, did not want to proceed with the house any longer. I'm not going to get into that. That's not the point of the story. So my clients got out of the contract with the HOA documents once they were delivered. We were within our timeline, and the agent says to me, "Hey, you can't get out of this contract with the HOA documents." I've never heard of this. Just because you haven't heard of it doesn't make it so. So I pulled the code and sent it to her. I said, well, I'm so sorry. I mean, I said it politely. I said, well, my client doesn't want to move forward and they're getting out of the contract with the HOA documents. And she still proceeded to tell me that I didn't know what I was talking about. Well, I know what I know. I might not know everything, but I know what I know. So I know that my clients can send notice to your clients with a unilateral termination, which means my client can terminate without your client having to give the okay, like, oh, well, we're going to terminate. No, this is the law. This is the rule. Here you go. So, but she tells me that she can't. Oh, by the way, this person was a broker. That's kind of sad. But anyway, that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is when you are in an HOA or condo association, you do not have to give a reason why you're getting out. That doesn't even matter if the HOA does not have violations. Like the house doesn't have violations. The client just, I don't agree with what they're doing. I just want to get out. Sorry, I'm hearing. I don't want to proceed. Your client can do that. But as long as you do it within that timeline, and make sure you ask your agent, I'm not going to get into the days, but make sure you ask your agent. It's different for different areas. It's different for Virginia. It's different for Maryland. It's different for DC. If you're outside of the areas, the states that I mentioned, then it's different in your area too. And there are different rules everywhere. But I'm talking about my location. So just make sure you understand your documents. If you're an agent, make sure you understand and also educate your client that, okay, well, this is another contingency in place. It is a contingency, but it's not like a special addendum. It's part of the contract, but the client can get out. So make sure you educate them and let them know, well, even if the home inspection was good, even if appraisal was good, and that's why you always want to have the HOA documents as soon as the buyer has a contract. Like on new construction, they don't play around. As soon as you're under contract, they give it to you right away. So they don't want you to have that out anymore, because they don't have to give, you don't have to give the person a reason. Like with other contingencies, you have to give a reason why you're making a change or why you want to get out because of X, Y, and Z. With HOA, you do not. So just educate yourself, understand what your contract is, and if you're a buyer or if you're a seller, if you need to get legal advice, because your agent can't give you legal advice, but make sure you understand what you are signing beforehand and what the ramifications are. Just understand, okay, if they get out, like what is this going to mean to me? So don't wait. If you're an agent, And if you're a seller, don't wait too late to get those documents ordered. Because the later you send it, I mean, like say for instance, okay, closing is say March 31st. And you give the documents to the buyer. I'm just using if it was like 3 days. Well, I don't want to use 3 days. I'm going to use the 30th for a good math, so I remember. So say you deliver them on the 30th, or your closing's on the 30th. And you give the documents to the buyer. And in this scenario, you only had 3 days to review. You give it to them on the 27th. Did you know the buyer could walk away at closing? And you wouldn't have one leg to stand on? There's nothing you could do about it. So you want to make sure you get those documents as soon as possible. And a good agent will have them done right away and have them delivered. That's what I do for my clients. We don't have drama, not that kind of drama. So thank you so much for tuning in. I just wanted to shed light on, I won't say it's an issue, but a lot of times I notice that agents forget to do it. So we want to make sure that those things are in line so our clients won't have unnecessary drama, because I'm pretty sure your client is not going to be too happy with you because you ordered the documents late and the buyer walked away. So thank you so much for tuning in. Like, comment, and subscribe. Have you had anything crazy happen to you? Comment below.